Hi, it's Mark here from the Childminder Support Network. Hope you're all well and bearing up in these troubled times. I'm going to cook for you some fish marinated in masala with some dal and plain boiled rice. So to marinate the fish, we need about a teaspoon of fresh garlic and a teaspoon of fresh ginger, a teaspoon of dried chili flakes and a teaspoon of turmeric, the juice of one large lemon or the juice of two small lemons, either some filleted sea bass, or I find mackerels, my particular favourite, is a great fish that works with this. Oily fish or sea bass certainly is very, very good. And one egg beaten. So that's the marinade for the fish. Finally chop the garlic and ginger and add the turmeric, chili seeds and the juice of the lemon into a jug and give it a stir. Add a little bit of water to give you a little bit more of the paste and mix up. It's not going to be a thick paste, it's going to be quite a thin paste. And then what you do is you pour that over the fish, like so, and ensure it fully covers the fish. And then what you do is cover the fish and stick that in the fridge for about overnight ideally, but if you can't put it in overnight, stick the fish for at least 30 minutes in the fridge while you prepare your dal. Ingredients and method for making the dal. A sliced onion, a teaspoon of mustard seeds, a garlic clove and a teaspoon of chili flakes and turmeric powder, half a cup of lentils, half a tin of tin tomatoes, coriander leaves and also some curry leaves. So in a pan, add your half a cup of lentils and some boiling water. And what you do is you boil these to soften them. Just cover them up nicely. Excuse me with the shaky hand because we're trying to cook and film at the same time. So put that on a heat. It's really, really important that you do not add any salt to the lentils at this stage, because if you do, they won't cook. So let those cook for about 15-20 minutes, enough time to soften. And then what we'll do after that is we'll put them in the blender. But for now, just let that cook. The lentils have been cooking now for about 20 minutes on a low heat. As you can see, they look quite soft. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer that to a liquidizer just to blend into a smooth liquid. To a pan, add some Frylight or oil. I'm using Frylight because I want to keep this dish as healthy as possible. Put it on a heat and add in your mustard seeds. And then what you do is you need to wait for these to pop before you add the other ingredients. So you give them a little bit of stir and just wait for those to pop a little bit. And as you can hear them beginning to sizzle and pop. I'll just turn the heat down slightly because I don't want it too hot because it will start burning them. As soon as the mustard seeds start popping, and you can see them popping, add your sliced onions and also add in your curry leaves and give that a really good stir. I'm going to add some more Frylight because, again, I'm cooking healthy here, so I just want to make sure that the onions are fully coated with the oil. But if you're using oil, vegetable oil or olive oil, that's absolutely fine. You can just give it a stir with the oil. So give that a stir and let the onions start softening. It's really important that they start softening. I wouldn't add the garlic yet because garlic burns pretty quickly. So it's important to just let those onions soften before you add any garlic. You'll have to some onions off, so let's add those in. I don't have a tripod, which I need to invest in, which will make my hand a bit steadier than my wonky hand, but there you go. Needs must in these desperate times. Look at those onions are good. Let them soften. Need to add some more twilight, which I'm going to do. So they really soften. Beginning to soften already. Let those settle in the pan. There's different ways of making dal. I don't profess to have the right or wrong method. This was the method that was handed down to me by my mother. My background is I'm Anglo-Indian, and Anglo-Indians probably cook it slightly differently to maybe Indians or Pakistanis, but this is the way I make it, and I really, really love this particular recipe. So you can see the onions are now beginning to brown. Just a little bit more of a stir. Give that a few more minutes, and then I will add the rest of our ingredients. So what I'm going to add now is just a clove of garlic. Again, trying to do this while swarming isn't easy. It's the easiest thing to do. I don't have the facilities of Good Food Show or Saturday Kitchen, but there you go. So that's garlic that been added. Garlic burns quite quickly, so you've got to be careful with the heat. And what you can do is, particularly when you're cooking with spices, spices burn very quickly and very easily, so you can always add a little bit of water in when you've added your spices, which I've not quite added any spices in yet, but I will do in a second. Let that cook through for a few seconds. I will add some water in once I've added in the turmeric and the chili flakes. So that's cooking through nicely. So I'm now going to add the turmeric and chili flakes. Give that a stir, and as I said, I am going to add some water because that's quite dry and that will burn. So just a little bit of water to help. Turn the heat right down. Don't want those spices burning. Really important they don't burn. Give them a stir. You get the heat from the chili flakes and some flavour from the turmeric, and also add some nice colour. So finally, actually not finally, going to add our tin tomatoes in a second. Again, I'm going to add a little bit more water to that because I can see it's beginning to catch, so that's fine. And give that a stir. So far we've had our onion, our mustard seeds, our onions, our garlic, our chili flakes, and turmeric. So that's cooking nicely. Let that cook for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to add the tomato. So I'm going to add the half a tin of chopped tomatoes, or you could use fresh. I've used tinned for convenience. Give that a real good stir. You can see all the colours and feel the flavours coming through now. It's looking a bit more like a curry sort of base for our dal. So let that cook through again. Maybe turn up the heat slightly. So I liquidized the dal. You can see that there, and I'm going to add that in a second. Oh, if only you could smell these flavors. They're incredible, really good. And finally, I'm going to add the liquidized dal, which I cooked for about 20 minutes to soften. Didn't add any salt because by adding the salt, it won't, the lentils will never cook. So it's really, really important you don't add any salt at that stage. So, give that a stir, sorry. Give it there. And then finally, add your handful of coriander. And give that a stir in. Now you can see this will resemble the dal you've probably eaten in an Indian restaurant. You can see, and the thing about dal is it's so nutritional. It's so good for you. There's so many, it's very high in protein. I've cooked it with fried rice. So it's actually add some salt to taste. That's what's adding some salt. And all you then do is let that simmer for about 10-15 minutes to let the flavours cook in the dal. And then so next stage will be to prepare and cook the fish. So now the dal has been prepared, I've added the beaten egg to the fish, which has been marinating in the fridge. You can either dip it in the egg, or you can even just add the egg in and just make sure that the fish is nicely coated. And then what we're going to then do is transfer that into a pan to pan. So I've added the fish to a frying pan, and what you do is you pan fry skin side down for about 3 to 4 minutes until the skin has gone nice and crispy and golden, and then you turn over and cook it for another 1 to 2 minutes, ensuring the fleshy side is cooked as well. So we'll just let that heat up and sizzle, and then we'll come back to it. While we're waiting for the sea bass to brown, I just thought I'd show you the resulting dal and the sort of texture it is once it's been cooked through. I cooked it on a low heat for about 15 minutes, and it's looking perfect, absolutely perfect. So there you have it, sea bass pan fried in masala with lemon juice and dal with plain boiled rice. And I hope you enjoyed this recipe and you do try it. And finally finish off by saying bon appetit. Cheers.